In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what is pride and how it affects the law of attraction. Hey guys, it's Abby and thank you so much for watching this video. So, I'm sure you've all heard of it. What is pride, right? And specifically, how does it affect the law of attraction? So, I recently came across something where I literally was blown away. There's little emoji eyes if you have an iPhone and they like look one way, and that's like the only thing that I could think of. Like, what? Like literally was a triple take. So a lot of times when I have heard a word a lot in my lifetime, to kind of disrupt that, I like to look at the etymology of it. So I went back to Latin to see what the translation for that word, and that word would be Superbia, superbia. I'm not even gonna, it's a dead language, so I don't know how to say it. But what that means is unreasonable self-esteem. So pride, if you have pride, you have unreasonable self-esteem. Okay, that makes sense, right? You've heard that. Okay, yeah, he's very proud, right? A lot of pride. Now, let me tell you what I read and why that really shattered how I saw pride. So I was on the website www.flowsandforms.com, and I will leave the link to that in the description box. And if you go to a special part of that website called Does Your Body Lie? It's an absolutely incredible resource. Basically, the idea of that whole website is your subconscious is your body, and different ailments are going to show you different things, and how to basically use that website as a tool. So you have an elbow injury, you have a back injury, you have a cold, you have something with your eye, you have different behavioral issues such as pride. It's going to tell you the root of that emotionally, and it's going to help break up that just subconscious lock that you're not aware of, right? It's going to shine some light into your life, I will tell you. So sometimes I'll browse through it. I'll look at my ailments. Helps me be a lot more real with myself. Like, oh, that just happened because ... No. Start looking at it, start really getting honest with myself. It's like, yeah, that is what's going on. Or, oh, okay, I didn't think that was having an effect on me, but let me look a little bit more into that. Let me meditate on that. Let me get deeper inside to see where that is going on. So I highly recommend that you go over there to that website, click on that. I will link it in the description box. But back to the video. So I was looking, actually, I had somebody that I know was talking about depression, and I thought, I wonder what Flows and Forms has to say about this. I was reading, learning, looking. Then I came to a part that talked about pride, and I thought, it was like a record scratch. And I'm like, what are you talking about? How does pride and depression have anything to do with each other? So then I got to this one part that said, pride is the ultimate form of depression. And that literally, that's when the other emoji of like head blown, like, what are you talking about? They seem like opposite ends of the spectrum. If somebody who is depressed, they're feeling really bad about things, they're really having a hard time, they're sad, they're, like weighted down. You have somebody pride, they're over there, like walking around thinking they are, God's gift to the world. And then I thought, okay, as I started looking more into it, it's like, oh, okay, go back to that original Latin definition. Unreasonable amount of self-esteem. Well, that's what it comes across as, right? Somebody who's being prideful. It's an unreasonable, it's a boosted, it's somebody who's overcompensating, right? So if you think about, okay, so somebody's overcompensating, they're being over the top, I have all this self-esteem. What most likely happens when you're overcompensating? It's because you're on the opposite end of the spectrum. So thinking about it in that way, like, oh, if this person was really struggling with depression and they really are having a hard time like seeing value in themselves, somebody in a desperate attempt would actually be showing like, look how proud I am, look how good I am. The other thing about pride is like this obsession that what they have done is good and great and just so like the best. A certain political leader, I use that term leader loosely, but that would come to mind, like, oh, I am the best, the things I do are the greatest, right? Just over the top. It's all about the things they've done. Okay, think about that with somebody who's full of pride. They're boasting and boasting and boasting about things that they have done. Never who they are, only what they've done. Now, again, you go back to that idea of, okay, pride is the ultimate form of depression. Well, they must not think about much about who they are. It's only about what they've done. Then as I started, getting into that, I thought, wow, that's somebody who's really desperate. And it started to make a lot more sense to me. Okay, so someone who has a lot of pride, they're so obsessed about how great what they have done, all their actions, all their work, it has to be the best. Because if it's not the best, that is their only clinging on to being good enough or acceptable, right? Because they don't see themselves high. They don't see themselves valuable. They don't see who they are as a valuable part. They only try to see what they've done to have value, and they want to convince you, because if you give them that permission, then they can accept themselves a little bit more, right? Desperate. And then it got me thinking about, wow, that comes from very much a lack mentality, right? That's where the law of attraction started coming in for this video concept. And so it's like, okay, so somebody is out there and you think, man, this person just thinks they are so good, and they're walking around, and really that's not the case. They are so scared inside. They have such a lack, because if they don't convince you what they've already done is good, they don't really have any confidence that they can do it again. Or that would reflect more about who they are is the valuable part. And so therefore what they produce, what they create is abundant. It just flows. And it's not, it's like, oh, that thing, yeah, you can kind of celebrate it together. Like somebody else outside of you acknowledges it and you're like, yeah, that was great. But not like you're convincing them this is so great. But, it's not who they are. It's only kind of like an accident, like this thing happened. I need you, I'm pleading with you, see this, right? Very desperate. So when you think about law of attraction, right, vibrationally, if they're in a lack mentality, that is stuck on what they don't have, who they aren't, right? What they lack, what they don't have. It's absolutely compartmentalizing themselves and blocking off. A lot of times I say that there's only abundance in the world. There's only abundance in the universe. And if you're watching this right now and you don't feel like you have that in your life and you're like, this video is bullshit, hold up, hear me out though. Look at nature. It is ever abundant. It's never worried about if it's going to have enough resources. It's never worried about how can it grow. It's never worried about anything. It just does what it needs. It always has what it needs to do, what it needs to do, right? Never worrying, always there. We experience lack in our lives. Yes. Is it because there's a lack in the universe? No. It is because we isolate ourselves from that energy, from that flow, because of a lot of different things, because of beliefs that we grew up with, because of experiences we had, and therefore we created beliefs. But all that insulation is our own creation. So as we disassemble it, we realize, oh, it's been here all along. There's no lack. It was our concept of lack that was the only reason lack existed. So when you think about these people, they're constantly in a lack mentality. So they are isolating themselves from abundance. So even though they want you to think that they are just so full of themselves and they believe themselves so much, it's absolutely the lack, the opposite. They're living in lack. They're living in scarcity. They're living in fear. So in a law of attraction, they are going to continually see that and find that. And if you think about the fact that it's the ultimate form of depression, what do you think that that's going to do for their depression? It's going to continually crush them. So when you see people out there who are really full of pride, I ask you to remember this video. Remember the state in that they really are in. They're creating their own version of hell on earth. And until they really look at that and until they can see that they are abundance, that they are so much more than what they do. They themselves are the valuable thing. You know, you having that compassion to them and you seeing past that front that they want you to see, and really understanding the need that they have is just to feel valued, just to feel accepted, right? And if you can just give that to them in whatever way, or just see that and take away that desire to like shun them or push them away or be like, God, this person's so annoying, or like over the top, right? Pride. What was it? Unreasonable self-esteem. These people can be very loud, and maybe you experience it too. I know I have in my past. When I think about how prideful I've been, and I think about this definition, it is a zinger straight to the heart, straight to the gut. Like, yeah, that is it. I was struggling the most with my value of myself at that time. And I needed so much. I felt that I needed so much the validation of other people because I didn't have it inside. But the truth is, I always had it. I was the one cutting off that flow from myself. And as I started to, make a choice to investigate more, to have more self-awareness, and to start, unthreading this ball of belief that was not true. It was real for me, but it wasn't true. So again, especially as we go into the holiday season and you're going to come across different people that might really push your buttons, I encourage you to remember to have compassion for the fact that these people don't have a lot of self-love. And if it's you out there right now who's struggling with pride, you are loved. I love you. And deep inside, you love you too. And those around you, as you start to really accept the love that is naturally inside of you, you will start seeing it reflect in the world, and that momentum will continue to grow. There's tons of resources out there, not only on YouTube, but out in the world. So I encourage you to just start looking, to start being open if you're struggling with pride. Like, okay, what if that's true? What if I really don't believe in who I am and I don't find value in who I am, only what I do? It's very empty, and it goes back to that idea of what have you done lately? 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 Because that is your oxygen for self-esteem. So compassion and love will help to, I believe, dissolve that urge for people with pride and who are struggling with pride to be like, look at this, look at this, look at this. Because you just give them naturally, like, here you go. This is what you're wanting. Here you go. This is what you need. Here, I gladly give it to you. You don't have to deserve it or earn it or show me why you need it. Here, as a human being, we're all one, we're all connected. You giving it to them gives it more to you as well. So it's a very holistic thing. So even on a selfish level, you giving it to them gives you more. So again, I really encourage you to open your eyes on what pride really is and how hard that is for the person that's struggling with it to cope and be and exist in life until they realize they are abundance, they are naturally love, and they and only them can give the permission to experience that now, because it exists right now. So I really hope this video has helped you. If so, please click like. It helps to share this idea with other people, get in front of more eyeballs and ears. If you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button. That little bell lets you know as soon as I release my next video, which is every single day, and I'll see you on the next one.